Johnny Carson's hand was shaking. It was November 14, 1985. The Tonight Show was taping live at NBC Studios in Burbank, California. 300 people sat inside that studio audience. Millions more were watching from their living rooms across America. And Johnny Carson, the man who had made this country laugh for over 23 years, could not speak. His face had gone pale. His eyes were wet. The cue cards in his hand trembled like leaves caught in a storm. The band stopped playing. Inside Johnny's earpiece, the director's voice crackled with panic. "Johnny! Johnny, you're live. Talk to us." But Johnny Carson wasn't listening. He was staring at a 7-year-old girl standing at the edge of the stage. She was tiny, wearing a blue dress 2 sizes too big. On her small wrist hung a man's wristwatch, loose and oversized. In her hands, she clutched a folded piece of paper as if it were the most important thing in the world. She had just whispered something to him. And whatever she said had broken him. The audience sat frozen. No one understood what was happening. This was Johnny Carson, the king of late night. The man who had done this more than 11,000 times. The man who never lost his composure. But now tears streamed down his face. 30 seconds of dead air. An eternity in television. The longest silence in Tonight Show history. What could a 7-year-old girl possibly say that brought Johnny Carson to his knees on live television? To understand that moment, you have to understand who that little girl was. Her name was Lily Thompson. Lily Thompson was 7 years old. She had brown hair and big eyes that carried a sadness far too heavy for someone so young. 8 weeks before that night, Lily's world had collapsed. Her father, Robert Thompson, was 34 years old. He worked as a high school custodian in Pasadena, California. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. But to Lily, he was the greatest father in the world. Robert Thompson had one obsession in life. One thing that brought him joy no matter how hard his day had been. The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Every single night, Robert would sit in his worn-out recliner, Lily curled up on his lap, and watch Johnny's monologue. He knew every joke. Every pause. Every subtle gesture. In their tiny backyard, he would practice Johnny's golf swing. At the dinner table, he would repeat Johnny's punchlines until Lily's mother rolled her eyes and laughed. One night, Lily asked him, "Daddy, why do you love Johnny Carson so much?" Robert smiled and answered simply, "Because when I watch him, I forget that life is hard. He makes me believe that no matter how bad things get, there's always something worth smiling about." 3 months before everything changed, Robert did something unusual. He entered a radio contest. He called in more than 200 times over a single weekend. And somehow, he won 2 front-row tickets to a live taping of The Tonight Show. When Robert heard the news, he screamed so loudly the neighbors rushed over. He picked Lily up and spun her around the kitchen. "We're going to see Johnny, baby girl. Front row. We'll be so close we can see him breathe." Lily had never seen her father so happy. Then September 15th happened. A drunk driver ran a red light on Colorado Boulevard and slammed into Robert's car on the driver's side. Robert Thompson was pronounced dead at the scene. Lily was supposed to be with him that day. A last-minute cold kept her home. She never got to say goodbye. But Robert had left something behind. The tickets. Still inside his nightstand. 2 front-row seats. Non-refundable. Non-transferable. One of them still had Robert's name printed on it. Lily's mother, Susan Thompson, didn't know what to do. Throwing them away felt like throwing away the last piece of her husband's dream. But going without him felt unbearable. Lily made the decision. "I want to go, Mommy." Susan hesitated. "Honey, it might be too sad." Lily shook her head. "Daddy wanted to take me. If we don't go, his dream dies too. I don't want his dream to die." Susan broke down crying. Her 7-year-old daughter understood grief better than any adult in the room. They would go. The night before the taping, Susan found Lily sitting on her bed, holding a piece of paper. She was writing slowly, carefully, concentrating on every word. "What's that, sweetheart?" Susan asked. Lily folded the paper and tucked it into her pocket. "It's for Johnny." Susan assumed it was a child's drawing or a thank you note. She didn't push. She would later wish she had. That night, Lily insisted on wearing her father's watch. It was far too big for her wrist. She wrapped tape around it just to keep it from falling off. But she refused to take it off. The drive to Burbank was silent. Lily stared out the window, clutching the folded paper, watching city lights her father would never see again. NBC studios buzzed with excitement. People laughing. People cheering. The hottest ticket in television. Lily didn't smile. They took their seats. Front row. One empty chair beside them. Susan whispered, "Daddy's watching from heaven, sweetheart." Lily nodded. "I know, Mommy. That's why I have to give Johnny the letter." Susan froze. "What letter?" Before she could ask more, the lights dimmed. The band began to play. Ed McMahon's voice boomed through the studio. "Here's Johnny." Johnny Carson walked through the curtain. The monologue started perfectly. The audience roared with laughter. But something kept pulling Johnny's attention. A little girl in the front row. Not laughing. Not smiling. Just watching him. Waiting. Johnny finished his last joke. And in that brief moment of silence, Lily stood up. Security moved forward. Johnny raised his hand. "Wait. Let her come." The studio fell silent. Johnny walked to the edge of the stage and knelt down. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily," she said softly. "My daddy loved you, Mr. Carson." Johnny smiled gently. "Well, that means a lot to me. Is your daddy here tonight?" Lily shook her head. "He died 2 months ago. A car accident." The audience gasped. Johnny's smile faded. "I'm so sorry." Lily held out the folded paper. "He wrote you a letter. He said if he ever met you, he wanted you to read it." Johnny took the letter. And began to read. At first, Johnny's face was calm. Then something changed. His jaw tightened. His hands began to shake. Ed McMahon stood up. Johnny didn't respond. Tears filled his eyes. He tried to speak. Nothing came out. 300 people sat in complete silence. Lily stepped closer and gently touched his hand. "Daddy said you'd understand." Johnny finally looked up. His voice barely a whisper. "Lily, your father," he turned to the audience. "I need to tell you something." He held up the letter. And read aloud. "Mr. Carson, you don't know me, but you saved my life when I was 12 years old. My father died in a factory accident. I stopped talking. I stopped eating. One night, your show came on, and I laughed. That laugh saved me. I've watched you every night for 30 years. I have cancer now. I don't have much time. But I'm not afraid, because you taught me that even in the darkest night, there's always a reason to smile. Please tell my daughter that her daddy loved her. And please tell her that laughter is how we survive." Johnny lowered the letter. He knelt down and held Lily's hands. "Your father taught me something tonight." He reached into his pocket, pulled out his signature blue pocket square, and placed it in Lily's hands. "When you miss your daddy, hold this. And remember that somewhere, someone is trying to make people smile, just like he wanted." The audience stood. Crying. Applauding. Johnny kept his promise. Every year, on Lily's birthday, he dedicated a joke to her father. Lily Thompson is 46 years old today. She works as a grief counselor, helping children who've lost parents. In her office hangs Johnny Carson's pocket square, framed in gold. Beside it, her father's letter. She still wears his watch. It fits now. And she tells every child the same thing her father believed: laughter isn't about forgetting pain. It's about surviving it. And that's what love does. It reaches people even when we're gone. If this story moved you, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. What moment of unexpected kindness changed your life? Tell me in the comments. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from right now. And remember, even in your darkest night, there's always a reason to smile.